What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Belinda Carlisle, and as always, big thank you to Phil, as well as to Mark and others who've been commenting on this journey. We're continuing through Heaven on Earth, 1987, and the next track is Fool for Love. My immediate thought is something like a hopeless romantic, someone who continues to embrace the romantic spirit and be optimistic toward their romantic trajectory, even when experience and logic might suggest otherwise, or would lead them to normally conclude that perhaps they should scale back that emotion or be more cautious and hesitant to put their heart out there. So yeah, I wonder if that's the essence. Of course, a fool for love might not be the narrator. It could be someone else that is being described. It could, of course, be someone who is naive or is making choices or decisions that are not so much like hopelessly romantic, even though they know better, but mistaken or viewing possibilities the wrong way. I'll try to see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Belinda Carlisle. The track is Fool for Love, and it's from her 1987 album Heaven on Earth.
When I look into your eyes, I see everything I was meant to be. If I'm a fool for love, I don't care, I don't care. When we're together, all I know, there is no place I need to go. If I'm a fool for love,
lot to say. I'll start by saying it's a lot of fun. It makes me feel nostalgic. I don't think I've ever heard it before, but it makes me think of my youth and 80s music I heard as a kid. I suppose it is possible that I heard it on the radio and it's activating some long memory, long distant memory of being familiar with some of the melodic progression there. But yes, I don't think I've heard it, but it really does sound like that warm, nostalgic music of the 80s that defined my childhood. Secondarily, I feel like it's a full-throated, not so much vocally, but definitely there was a bit of fire in some of the secondary or tertiary lines of I Don't Care, which I really did enjoy. The first couple of times that hit, it was like, oh damn, like Belinda's, letting out the vocal fire. But yeah, full-throated in an emotional sense, like, again, just, yes, I am a hopeless romantic, and even if I'm being naive, or even if it makes me vulnerable, or even if it, makes me a bit simple, I'm here for it. Like, I want to dive into love with you. I want to dance with you in the dark. I want to, be under the moonbeams together. So it's like setting visuals that I think are also functioning metaphorically, but it's just wholeheartedly in support of embracing love, and even if you have setbacks, or even if it doesn't always work out, or even if she has to work at it more than just immediately everything clicking into place, she's here for it. And again, I think the full-throated vocals, which, she's not crazy belting with rasp the whole song, but those extra vocal fire moments, they really drive that point home. Sonically, I was thinking, it's the kind of tune that, like, I could hear being a Roxette track. I could hear Marie doing those lead vocals. There's a couple moments where I think it's like layered Belinda, and I could hear them actually being pair vocals in the background. It's got that synth-rock 80s sound to it. So I was already thinking, like, if you switch this around a little bit in terms of who was delivering the vocals, I could totally hear this as a Roxette track from the mid to second half of the 80s. And then it gets to the end, and Belinda starts doing these non-verbal melodic vocals, which I've commented a lot in the Roxette and solo Marie deep dives, that one of the things I think she does really well is make those non-verbal vocals, whether it's da-da-da or just almost like just giving a vocal that isn't actually a word per se, and imbuing it with a lot of feeling to the point where, like, I get what she means even though she's not actually singing words. And the non-verbal vocals at the end of this track just made it feel like even more of a tune that if you had given it to Roxette, it would have been very much within their, center lane. I did also think there was a bit of that, like, fun, quirky 80s feel to it. So, like, if you gave it to Cyndi Lauper, I think she could have made it work too. But I love the way Belinda does it. I love those fiery vocals. And yeah, it's an admirable sentiment. Now, of course, if you've been burned in love, if you've, felt pain in a lot of your relationships, maybe it won't resonate as much. But again, it kind of made me nostalgic, even though I don't think I've heard it. Which, I forget the name for it. There's a term for that concept when, like, you see places that you've never been, and it feels, it's like, it's familiar and nostalgic, and I've never been there. And as I was hearing it, it was like, I don't think I've ever heard this, but it feels like so familiar. It feels like the 80s that I knew as a kid and that I enjoyed. So yeah, a top tune, a catchy kind of pop song, but definitely one that would be in my playlist if I could go back to the 80s and, with a mind full of, musical knowledge and insight, a lot of which comes from you folks. So yeah, it would be in my playlist then, it will be in my playlist now. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.